My beloved child, do not scroll past this moment. I have orchestrated this exact second in time for you to hear my voice. I see you. I see the heavy sigh you let out when you are finally alone in a quiet room. I see those long, silent moments you spend sitting in your parked car before you gather the strength to walk through your front door and put on a brave face for everyone else. You are so deeply exhausted. The weight of the world has been resting on your shoulders for far too long, and you have been carrying it all by yourself. You are working incredibly hard just to keep your head above water. I know about the silent anxiety that grips your chest at 3 in the morning. I know about the bills that keep coming, the cost of living that keeps rising, and the constant pressure of a society that demands you to always be running, always be producing, always be hustling. You look at your bank account, and you wonder how you are going to make it to the end of the month. You feel the relentless push of a world that measures your worth by your productivity, and you are just so tired. You have prayed for a breakthrough. You have asked me for a sign. You have cried out for relief when no one else was watching. I am telling you today, right here and right now, that your long season of struggle is officially over, very soon. The heavy doors that have been slammed in your face are about to be blown wide open by my grace. I am about to move in your life in a way that will leave you absolutely breathless. But I have one very specific and urgent instruction for you right now. Do not tell anyone yet. Keep your mouth completely closed about the blessing I am brewing in your life. Keep it a secret. Do not post about it on the internet. Do not call your friends to discuss it. Do not look for validation from people who do not understand the profound spiritual season I have placed you in. You must remain quiet. I know how much you want to share the good news. When you feel a shift in your spirit and you sense that victory is finally close, it is human nature to want to shout it from the rooftops. You want to prove to the people who doubted you that you are not failing. You want to show your family that your hard work is finally paying off. You want to feel the warmth of human approval and hear them say that they are proud of you. But I am warning you out of the Oz. My deep love for you, to hold your peace. Why am I asking you to stay silent? Because a seed requires the dark, undisturbed dirt to germinate and grow strong roots. If you dig that seed up every single day just to show everyone that it is growing, the exposure will kill it. Your miracle is currently in the incubation phase. It is delicate, and it is forming in the secret place under Nod, my divine protection. If you take the embryo of your answered prayer and parade it before people who lack faith, their negative energy will contaminate the soil of your blessing. There are people in your life who mean well, but they operate from a place of intense fear and lack. If you tell them about the massive opportunity I am preparing for you, they will project their own insecurities onto your dream. They will tell you to be realistic. They will tell you to play it safe. They will list all the reasons why it might not work out, because they have never seen the kind of supernatural favor I am about to pour over you. Their logical minds cannot comprehend the magnitude of my grace. Do not let their earthly limitations shrink your heavenly destiny. I am hiding you right now. The isolation you have been feeling, the quietness of your phone, the way certain friends have drifted away recently, it is not a punishment. It is my divine shield around you. I have intentionally cleared the room because I am doing major spiritual surgery on your life, and the operating room must be sterile. I cannot allow the bacteria of jealousy, doubt, and secret competition to infect what I am doing for you. You must understand that not everyone who smiles at you is praying for your success. Some people have become comfortable with your struggle because it makes them feel better about their own stagnation. The moment your life begins to radically elevate, it will trigger their hidden insecurities. Do not give the enemy a map to your next blessing by talking about it before it is fully manifested. The spiritual warfare you have been experiencing is real. The reason everything has felt so difficult lately is that the enemy knows you are standing on the very edge of a massive generational shift. He cannot stop what I have ordained for you, but he can try to distract you, and he often uses the opinions and words of other people to do it. When you speak your plans out loud to the wrong audience, you give the enemy ammunition to attack your mind with doubt. Keep it between you and me. Let the results speak for themselves when the time is right. I am preparing a table for you right in the presence of your enemies, just as my word promises. But the kitchen is currently closed to the public. Let me work in the background. Let me align the right people, the right resources, and the right timing. You do not need to figure out how it will happen. Your only job right now is to trust me and remain silent. As you wait in this quiet space, you will notice a strange sense of peace washing over you. You will stop needing people to validate your choices. But there is a hidden danger in this period of waiting. When you are entirely alone with your thoughts, the silence can become deafening. The isolation can start to feel like abandonment if you do not know how to navigate the wilderness. You might begin to wonder if I have forgotten you, or if this secret season is actually a trap. You might wonder if I have forgotten you, or if this secret season is actually a trap. I understand why your mind goes there. When you are sitting in a quiet room and your phone is not ringing, it is so incredibly easy to believe the lie that you have been left behind. You live in a fast-paced world that constantly demands updates. You open your phone and you are immediately flooded with images of everyone else succeeding. You see former classmates announcing their new corporate titles on professional networks. You see friends posting pictures of their new houses, their perfect vacations, and their flawless relationships. And then you look at your own life. You are holding on to a quiet promise I gave you in the dark, but you have absolutely nothing to show for it yet. You have no grand announcements to make. You feel the crushing weight of comparison telling you that you are running out of time and that you have failed. But listen to me very carefully right now. The danger of premature validation is one of the greatest weapons the enemy will use against you. Your culture has trained you to believe that if you are not broadcasting your every move to the public, you are not making progress. People want to see the proof before they offer their applause, but I am asking you to completely detach yourself from the drug of human approval. If you rely on the clapping hands of people to keep you motivated, the silence of those same people will eventually destroy you. I am breaking your addiction to external validation right now. I want you to think about the young man in the ancient scriptures who was given a beautiful coat of many colors. I loved him deeply, and I gave him a massive vision for his future. I showed him in a powerful dream that he would be a great leader, that he would rise far above his current circumstances, and that even his own family would one day bow down in respect to the authority I placed on his life. His mistake was not the dream itself. The dream was real, and the dream was from me. His mistake was taking a sacred and premature vision and speaking it out loud to people who did not have the spiritual capacity to handle it. He told his brothers. He wanted their validation. He wanted them to be excited for his future. But instead of celebrating his destiny, his brothers were consumed by a violent and toxic jealousy. They could not stand the thought of him succeeding where they felt stuck. So they stripped him of his beautiful coat, they threw him into a dark pit, and they sold him away into slavery. His own flesh and blood tried to abort the miracle because he spoke about it before it was fully formed. Do you see why I am commanding you to keep your mouth closed today? Your dream is beautiful, and your breakthrough is imminent, but the people around you are carrying their own hidden burdens of bitterness and regret. If you tell them about the incredible financial shift you are about to step into, or the new business idea I have planted in your mind, they might smile to your face, while their hearts secretly fill with envy. They will offer you practical advice that is actually dressed up as concern, but it is really just their own fear trying to pull you back down to a level they can understand. They will tell you that the economy is too unstable right now. They will remind you of all the times you tried and failed in the past. They will ask you how you plan to pay for it all. They will project every single one of their insecurities directly onto your fragile new beginning. I did not give the vision to them. I gave the vision to you. Their logical and weary minds cannot comprehend the supernatural favor I am preparing to pour over your life. It is a deeply painful realization when you discover that the people you call family, or your closest friends, do not actually support your highest calling. It stings when you realize that some people are only comfortable with you when you are struggling. Your struggle makes them feel superior and safe. The moment you start talking about breaking generational curses and stepping into wealth and peace, they feel threatened by your light. I am exposing these toxic dynamics in your life right now because I love you too much to let you be dragged down. I am cutting the emotional ties you have attached to the opinions of ordinary people. You do not need their permission to be blessed. You do not need their digital likes on a glowing screen to know that you are deeply loved and chosen by the Creator of the universe. By keeping your silence, you are building an impenetrable fortress around your coming miracle. You are learning to find your total satisfaction and absolute confidence in my voice alone. But I know the heavy toll this is taking on your mind. I know that this forced silence is pushing you into a place of absolute and terrifying loneliness. As the days go by, and the thick walls of this isolation press in on you, the harsh reality of your daily life is still staring you directly in the face. You are sitting in this quiet fortress, learning to trust me, but the bills are still stacking up on your kitchen counter. The collection agencies are still calling your phone. The deadline to pay your rent is still rapidly approaching. How do you survive the crushing darkness of this waiting room when you are running out of time and you are completely out of money? I hear that exact question echoing in your mind right now. You are staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, wondering how this isolation is supposed to help you pay the rent. You feel like you are in a pressure cooker. The heat is turned all the way up, and there is no release valve in sight. You have applied for dozens of jobs and heard absolutely nothing back. You have poured your heart into new ventures, and they seem to hit an invisible wall of resistance. Your social circle has shrunk so drastically that you sometimes go days without receiving a meaningful text message from anyone asking how you are truly doing. I know it feels like a severe punishment. I know it feels like I have led you out into a barren desert just to let you dry up and fade away while everyone else passes you by. But I need you to shift your perspective right now. This is not a graveyard. This is a greenhouse. The sudden career crisis that stripped away your corporate identity was not an accident. I know how deeply it hurts because you live in a society that tells you your worth is entirely defined by your job title and your income bracket. The brutal reality of the modern grind is that if you are not constantly producing and climbing the ladder, you feel completely worthless. You watch others networking, securing promotions, and buying new homes, while you are sitting in a quiet room, feeling totally invisible and entirely left behind. The anxiety over your mortgage, your health care, and your future sits on your chest like a physical weight. But let me tell you a profound spiritual truth that will change how you view this entire season. Every magnificent masterpiece is forged in the dark. Even my own son Jesus did not step into his greatest miracles while surrounded by cheering crowds and constant approval. Before he fed the thousands, and before he healed the multitudes, he retreated into the silent and lonely wilderness. He intentionally separated himself from the chaotic noise of the world, so he could hear the clear and unshakable voice of heaven. I am doing the exact same thing with you right now. I have pulled you away from the frantic energy of your culture, because their constant demands were drowning out my gentle instructions for your life. Think about a tiny, fragile seed planted in the ground. When the farmer covers it with heavy, dark dirt, the seed does not know it is being planted. The seed only feels the crushing weight of the soil. It thinks it has been buried alive. The winter is cold, the environment is pitch black, and the isolation is absolute. But that exact pressure is what forces the seed to break open and push its roots deep into the earth. If the seed stays on the surface where it is comfortable and visible to everyone, it will be eaten by birds or burned by the harsh sun. Are you willing to be hidden so you can heal? Are you willing to let me do the deep, unseen root work in your character that no one else can validate? You have been running on empty for years. You have been carrying the heavy trauma of past failures, the sharp sting of betrayal from people you trusted, and the suffocating guilt of not being where you thought you would be by this stage of your life. If I handed you the massive blessing right now, while your spirit is so deeply bruised and your mind is so exhausted, you would unintentionally sabotage it. Your current isolation is a divine detox program. I am meticulously flushing out the toxic mindsets you picked up from a world that measures your eternal soul by your temporary salary. I am teaching you how to sit still and know that I am God, even when the bank account is terrifyingly low. I am breaking your desperate reliance on human systems and teaching you to depend entirely on my supernatural provision. Do not panic when the door abruptly closes in your face. Do not panic when the friends slowly walk away and stop calling. I am the one locking that door, and I am the one dismissing that crowd. The intense pressure you feel right now is not here to crush your spirit. It is here to extract the absolute best version of who I created you to be. The olive must be violently crushed to produce precious oil. The grape must be heavily pressed to produce fine wine. You are in the spiritual winepress right now, and the pure anointing that will flow from this hidden season is going to change your entire family bloodline for generations to come. This is the sacred furnace of transformation. I am burning away your people-pleasing habits, your fear of failure, and your desperate need to fit in. I am replacing them with a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by economic downturns or the opinions of mere mortals. You are learning to trust the dark dirt. You are realizing that I am holding you close in the absolute quietness. But there is a very real and dangerous threat that happens just before the dawn finally breaks. The darkness might protect the seed, but the sheer exhaustion of waiting in that darkness can make you want to give up right before the harvest arrives. When you have been walking through the shadow of the valley for so long, the final mile is always the most brutal test of your faith. The enemy knows I am about to part the waters for you, but what happens when your legs simply refuse to take another step? How do you keep moving forward when your mind is screaming at you to just lie down and surrender to the overwhelming fatigue? I hear that exact question echoing in your mind right now. You are asking how you can possibly keep moving forward when your mind is screaming at you to just lie down and surrender to the overwhelming fatigue. I know exactly how tired you are. You have been praying for this specific breakthrough for months, and maybe even for years. You have watched the seasons change outside your window, while your personal situation remained exactly the same. You are exhausted by the sheer effort of hoping. It feels so much easier to just accept a mediocre life, and to stop fighting entirely. You are deeply tempted to just settle for the bare minimum, because believing for a massive miracle hurts too much when you face constant disappointment. You are tired of being the strong one all the time. You are tired of holding everything together for your family when you are secretly falling apart inside. You go to your workplace and you smile at your coworkers, but inside your chest there is a heavy, hollow ache. You have listened to countless motivational messages. You have read the ancient scriptures. You have attended the services and tried to keep your faith alive, but the breakthrough just keeps delaying. You are currently standing in the final mile of your journey, and I need you to understand that the final mile is always the most brutal stretch of any marathon. Your spiritual muscles are cramping, and the temptation to just quit today is practically unbearable. But I am speaking to you right now to tell you that you cannot give up today. Do not you dare throw in the towel on this specific day. Think about the ancient children of Israel standing on the muddy shores of the vast sea. They were physically exhausted from running for their lives. Behind them, they could hear the terrifying thunder of the Egyptian chariots rapidly closing in. The enemy was breathing right down their necks. In front of them was a massive, dark, and seemingly impossible ocean. There was absolutely nowhere left to run. They felt completely trapped in a hopeless situation. They looked at the impossible dark water, and they actually begged to go back into their chains. They cried out, because living in familiar slavery suddenly felt much safer than facing the terrifying unknown of their sudden freedom. That is exactly where you are standing right now. You are standing on your own muddy shore. The crushing debt and the failures of your past are chasing you from behind. The suffocating anxiety is closing in on you from every single side. The impossible obstacle is staring you right in the face. You are looking at your current bank statement or that terrifying medical report or that deeply broken relationship, and you are telling me that it is completely over. You are wondering why I led you out into this wilderness just to let you drown, but I did not bring you this far to abandon you. I did not pull you out of your old life just to leave you stranded at the edge of your new destiny. The reason the attacks against your mind are so incredibly fierce right now is that the enemy knows exactly where you are standing. The darkness is always the most violent right before the dawn finally breaks. The spiritual warfare in your life is at its absolute highest peak because you are only a few literal steps away from the promised land. The enemy knows I am about to bless you, so he is trying to paralyze you with fear. He is whispering a very dangerous lie into your ear right now. He is telling you to just be realistic. He is telling you to significantly lower your expectations for your future. He is trying to convince you that this struggle is as good as it gets, and that you should just learn to survive in the pain. Do not listen to that deceptive voice. Refuse to settle for a life of quiet desperation. I did not design you to just barely survive from one paycheck to the next paycheck. I created you to live in overwhelming abundance and to experience profound peace. You are so incredibly close to the finish line. If you could only see what is actively happening in the spiritual realm right now, you would not be crying those bitter tears. You would be shouting for absolute joy. The heavenly angels have already been dispatched on your behalf. The financial provision has already been released from my hands. The heavy dark waters of your massive obstacle are already beginning to tremble at the sound of my voice. The sea is about to split wide open. I am about to make a dry and safe path directly through your impossible situation. But I cannot part the waters until you do one very specific thing for me. I am requiring a radical act of faith from you in this exact moment. If you stay completely paralyzed by your fear and your exhaustion, you will miss the divine window of this miracle. The miracle requires your active participation. You are not meant to be a passive spectator in your own deliverance. I am about to split the sea, but I need you to lift your hands. I need you to prepare your environment for what is rapidly approaching. But how do you actually prepare for a massive flood of blessings when your hands feel completely empty and your spirit feels totally crushed? What is the specific and urgent act of faith I am demanding from you before the waters part? The specific and urgent act of faith I am demanding from you right now is preparation. I need you to prepare your life for the massive blessing I am about to pour out, even while your hands are completely empty. It is very easy to have faith when the bank account is full and the refrigerator is stocked. But true faith, the kind of faith that shakes the spiritual realm and parts the heavy waters, is when you start making room for a harvest while you are still standing in the middle of a brutal famine. Think about the story of the desperate widow in the ancient scriptures. She was drowning in severe debt, and the ruthless creditors were coming to take her sons away as slaves. She had absolutely nothing left in her house, except for one tiny jar of oil. My prophet did not tell her to just sit down and cry. He told her to go out and borrow as many empty jars as she could find from all of her neighbors. He told her not to borrow just a few. Then she was instructed to pour her tiny amount of oil into those empty vessels. The miracle of multiplication did not happen before she gathered the jars. The miracle happened as she poured. The supernatural oil kept flowing and flowing until every single empty jar was completely full. And do you know when the oil finally stopped flowing? It stopped the exact moment she ran out of empty vessels. The blessing was not limited by my divine power. The blessing was only limited by her capacity to receive it. I am asking you today, how many empty vessels are you bringing to me? You are begging me for a massive financial breakthrough, but you are still holding on to a mindset of intense poverty. You are praying for a beautiful and healed relationship, but you are still carrying the sharp and bitter fragments of your past betrayals. You are asking me to elevate your career, but you secretly struggle with a crippling imposter syndrome that tells you that you are entirely unqualified for the room I am about to put you in. You have lived in a state of constant survival for so long that peace actually feels dangerous to you. When something good finally happens, your traumatized mind immediately starts waiting for the other shoe to drop. You suffer from a deeply ingrained habit of self-sabotage because you have grown comfortable in your familiar pain. It is time to let go of the identity of the victim. You have worn that heavy coat of failure for so many years that you think it is your actual skin. You look at the polished and wealthy lives of people around you, and you assume that they were given a different portion of grace. You think that because you have stumbled and made mistakes in your past, you are permanently disqualified from living a life of overwhelming abundance. That is a lie straight from the pit of darkness. I am commanding you to prepare your empty jars today. You need to expand your mental capacity to hold the incredible weight of the glory I am about to reveal. Stop talking like you are going to be broke forever. Stop making permanent plans based on your temporary lack. If you are believing for a new job, I want you to wake up tomorrow morning and get dressed as if you are going to work. If you are believing for financial freedom, I want you to start thanking me for the abundance, even as you look at a negative balance on your digital screen. You must align your daily habits with the bright future I have promised you, and not the dark past that has trapped you. I cannot pour the fresh oil of my favor into a mind that is completely filled with self-pity and fear. You must intentionally empty yourself of the toxic belief that you do not deserve this incoming blessing. I did not choose you because you are perfect. I chose you because I love you, and because my grace is made absolutely perfect in your deep weakness. Your past mistakes do not disqualify you from this coming harvest, but your refusal to prepare for it will severely limit what I can do. The season of living paycheck to paycheck and drowning in an ocean of relentless consumer debt is coming to a rapid and permanent end. The long, agonizing years of feeling invisible and constantly passed over for promotions are officially over. I am bringing you out of the wilderness, but you have to stop packing your bags for another useless year in the desert. You must mentally move into the promised land before your physical feet ever touch the green grass. Start acting like the triumphant victor, and stop playing the role of the helpless prisoner. I have already given you the spiritual authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and to overcome all the destructive power of the enemy. But even as I speak these words of absolute truth over your tired life, I know there is still a violent war raging inside your head right now. You desperately want to believe me. You want to boldly prepare your empty jars, but the very moment you close your eyes, the enemy starts aggressively whispering those familiar and terrifying lies into your fragile mind. He tells you that it is far too late for you to start over. He tells you that you have messed up too many times, and that you have missed your divine window. He is actively trying to hijack your anxious thoughts before the miracle can fully manifest in the physical realm. You have to decisively silence those demonic whispers tonight before they take deep root in your spirit and choke out the new life I am breathing into you. How do you permanently extinguish those loud voices of fear and radically reprogram your exhausted mind to receive my total and absolute peace? You extinguish those terrifying voices not by fighting them in your own exhausted strength, but by completely overriding them with my eternal truth. Your mind has been programmed by a culture that thrives on your constant anxiety. You are exposed to a 24-hour cycle of terrible news, economic doom, and the endless highlight reels of other people succeeding. Your brain has been physically wired to expect disaster at every corner. When you live in a society that profits off your fear, peace feels deeply unnatural. But I am the author of peace, and I am actively rewiring your thought patterns right in this very second. I do not want you to just listen to me anymore. I want you to open your mouth and begin to partner with heaven. The spiritual atmosphere in your room changes the exact moment you stop complaining about the storm and start speaking directly to the waves. I am transferring the authority back into your hands. I want you to repeat these powerful declarations deep in your spirit. Let these words wash over your weary soul and flush out every single trace of the victim mentality you have been carrying. Tell yourself right now that you are completely forgiven. Say it in your heart that you are no longer defined by the heavy mistakes of your past or the financial failures that keep you awake at night. Declare that the brutal cycle of barely surviving is officially broken over your life. You are stepping out of the familiar shadows and into a blinding light of unprecedented favor. Tell the heavy darkness that it no longer has any legal right to torment your mind. Your career is not your savior. Your bank account is not your provider. I am your ultimate source, and my heavenly economy is never subject to inflation or recession or the unpredictable shifts of human markets. Affirm this truth right now. You are highly favored. You are deeply loved by the Creator of the universe. The heavy chains of generational poverty and inherited trauma are falling off your shoulders today. Do you feel that sudden shift in the room? That is the heavy atmosphere of doubt, literally breaking apart as you begin to agree with my divine plan. The enemy is terrified of a believer who finally understands their true identity. For years you have allowed the opinions of toxic people and the heavy demands of a ruthless corporate culture to tell you who you are. You have allowed your managers, your former friends, and your critical family members to write the script of your life. But today, I am handing the pen back to you. I want you to boldly declare that your physical body is healing. Declare that your nervous system is finally returning to a state of complete rest. You have spent years locked in a brutal survival mode, always bracing for the next disaster, always expecting the next bad thing to happen. That constant state of high alert has exhausted your physical body and drained your creative energy. But right now, I am commanding your mind and your body to stand down. The invisible war is over. The spiritual battle has already been won on your behalf. Say it to yourself. I am safe. I am protected. I am stepping into a season of effortless grace where the right doors will simply open for me without me having to kick them down. The right relationships will effortlessly gravitate toward me because my energy is no longer rooted in desperate need. You are no longer a slave to the modern daily grind. You are a royal child of the Most High. Repeat this deep in your spirit. The Lord is my ultimate shepherd. and I shall not want for anything. My cup is running over with unmerited favor. I am a powerful magnet for divine opportunities. The heavy spirit of depression and the suffocating blanket of isolation are permanently lifted from my home. I am calling my lost peace back into my heart. I am calling my stolen joy back into my mornings. I am commanding my anxious thoughts to immediately bow down to the powerful name of Jesus. I refuse to entertain the whispering demons of imposter syndrome for another second. I am completely qualified for the massive rooms God is about to put me in, because He is the one who personally wrote my name on the invitations. Take a deep breath right now, and let that profound truth settle deeply into your bones. You are doing so incredibly well. I am so deeply proud of the immense resilience you have shown over these last few difficult years. You have survived 100% of your worst days, and you are still standing here, ready to receive the massive harvest. The empty vessels have been gathered. The toxic mindset has been forcefully evicted from your weary mind. The powerful declarations of faith have been spoken directly into the spiritual realm. Heaven has officially recorded your sudden shift in posture. But you must understand that the enemy is a persistent and desperate thief. The very second you walk out of this quiet room and face the loud demands of your daily reality, he will try to snatch this newly planted seed of peace right out of your fragile heart. He will use a sudden unexpected bill, or an angry email from a coworker, or a careless word from a friend, to try and drag you right back into the dark pit of anxiety. You absolutely cannot let him steal this breakthrough from you. The soil is ready, and the seed is planted, but the field must be fiercely protected. You need a massive spiritual perimeter drawn around your mind, your finances, and your family. The powerful affirmations have prepared your heart, but there is one final and absolute seal of protection that must be placed over your life today to ensure this miracle cannot be touched by anyone or anything. How do we permanently lock the heavy doors against the enemy and seal this incredible blessing over your future forever? We permanently lock those heavy doors by applying a divine seal over your life today. I want you to settle your heart right now and focus entirely on my voice. We are going to pray a prayer of absolute sealing and protection. This is not just a casual prayer to help you sleep. This is a binding spiritual transaction. Think about the ancient Israelites on the very night before their massive breakthrough. I commanded them to place the mark of the Lamb on the doorposts of their homes. When the destroyer passed through the furious darkness, he could not touch any house that carried that specific mark. Today we are placing that exact same spiritual mark over your exhausted mind, over your physical home, over your career, and over your bank accounts. You are drawing a line in the spiritual sand that the enemy is no longer allowed to cross. But before we finish this powerful sealing prayer, there is one final lock that must be turned. To completely shut the door on the enemy, you must release the heavy bitterness you are holding against the people who hurt you during this isolated season. You have to forgive the friend who stopped calling when you needed them the most. You have to forgive the manager who unfairly let you go and pushed you into this financial crisis. You have to forgive the family members who coldly dismissed your dreams. If you hold on to your anger, it leaves a dangerous window wide open in your spiritual house. Let it go right now. They do not owe you an apology, because I am going to repay you for everything they stole. Your vindication comes directly from me. Now I want you to take a deep breath and let these final words of sealing wash over your spirit. You can repeat them in your mind, or just let your heart agree. Say to yourself right now that you receive the total protection of heaven. Father, I come to you completely tired of fighting my own battles. I surrender my need to control the outcome of my life. I ask you to place a thick hedge of angelic protection around my physical body and my mental health. I command the spirit of heavy debt and generational poverty to release its grip on my bloodline right in this exact moment. I seal my home against the relentless anxiety of this modern world. The chaotic noise of the American hustle will no longer dictate the peace inside my living room. I declare that my mind is permanently shielded from the toxic arrows of sudden depression and the suffocating weight of professional burnout. Lord Jesus, stand at the door of my heart, and do not let any paralyzing fear enter in. When the unexpected expenses try to steal my fragile joy, I will confidently remember that you are my ultimate and infinite provider. When the corporate world tries to tell me that I am falling behind, I will remember that I am chosen and highly favored by the Creator of the universe. I completely wash my hands of the desperate daily grind. I step out of the endless, exhausting rat race, and I step firmly into your divine rhythm of effortless grace. I ask you to blind the eyes of those who secretly wish for my downfall. Let the people who want to see me fail be completely confused by my sudden and unexplainable peace. Hide me securely in the quiet shadow of your wings, while you finish preparing this massive miracle. I promise to keep my mouth closed. I will not seek the empty validation of my peers. I will not post about my incoming harvest on the internet until the grain is securely locked in the barn. I entirely trust your perfect timing. Breathe fresh life into my tired bones right now. Restore the long years that the locusts have eaten. Restore the precious time I lost to bad relationships, to dead-end jobs, and to my own overwhelming fear. Fill every single one of my empty vessels until they absolutely overflow. I receive your profound healing. I receive your deep rest. I am stepping out of the dark waiting room and into my new season today. It is officially over. The long, bitter struggle is done. The heavy lifting is finally finished. I release the pain of yesterday, and I open my hands to receive the dawn of tomorrow. Let the supernatural peace of heaven settle heavily over your chest right now. Feel the tight tension leaving your neck and your shoulders. You are safe. You are hidden. You are profoundly loved. Tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, you are going to experience the deepest and most restorative sleep you have had in years. The anxious thoughts that usually race through your mind at midnight are completely silenced. The heavy physical pressure on your chest is gone. I have dispatched heavily armed angels to stand guard at the four corners of your home. Nothing evil can enter your space. Nothing toxic can touch your family. You can finally let your guard down. You do not have to be the strong one tonight. You can just be my child. Rest in the absolute certainty that while you are sleeping, I am working. I am actively aligning the right people, the right resources, and the right opportunities to meet you the very second you wake up. The dark winter is completely over. The warm spring has arrived. Your season of hidden preparation has officially graduated into your season of public elevation. But remember the sacred instruction. Keep it completely quiet until I give you the signal to speak. Trust the silence. Trust the process. Trust me. Amen.